Welcome to another episode of Husbands Watching Housewives. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeff.
And we have a very special guest with us today.
Super special.
Super special.
He is a threat. He's like a quadruple threat. He's very threatening.
Well, I guess he is a singer, dancer, actor, personal trainer,
host.
Like,
all the things. Yeah, former therapist also. So when I judge people, I can back it up.
Is that your tagline?
That should be my tagline.
So for those of you who don't know, we have Pablo with us. He is the vision behind the local drag phenomenon, Hunks Housewives, that we just went to this last Saturday at the Oasis in San Francisco.
Yes.
It happens multiple times a year, and though it's not necessarily scheduled until this November, you said?
November 15th, we are coming back, and I want to come back with a splash. I want to come back with a hearty housewife.
A hearty housewife.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to it for sure.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'll let you know. I cannot wait.
Please.
Yeah, of course.
So how long have you been doing Hunks Housewives? I know that I've been to most of them, but there were a couple we didn't get to make it to. But
we missed the Sutton one.
Which we are so upset we missed the Sutton one.
That was a journey. That was wild. So I've been doing it since the pandemic, actually. So I'll give you a little history rundown.
Please.
Yes.
I've been watching Housewives since day one.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, totally. I've been watching Housewives since day one, and it was just something I always watched. I would always talk about it with my mom or some friends. It was just a big thing that I loved, right? And then I joined the cast of Bologna, and I loved it. It was fun, and they would always laugh because I was very animated and very opinionated talking about Real Housewives, backstage and just all this stuff, right? And they were always okay. And any time a new person would come in, I'd be like, all right, do you watch the Real Housewives? And if they said no, I'd be I would just turn away. I'd be like, I don't know who the fuck this person is. Right? Whatever. They're a nobody. And then during the pandemic, we couldn't do anything, and Oasis was looking to try to still have some revenue and still create content and still be this thing, right? So they went into Oasis TV, and they started with Darcy Drawlinger's kind of news show called Hot Trash. So they were talking about pop culture, and it was a lot, right? But one of the guys that was producing it was I have an idea. You need to talk about Housewives. And he pitched something. And so I originally wanted to call it the Morally Corrupt Housewives show, but he didn't watch it. So he was I don't
get it.
I don't understand. And so he was just get Bologna boys in it and do it in your underwear and call it Hunks Housewives. And so I was you think I'm a hunk? Okay. So I was all right. So we started recording, and I was I talked. I had a really good friend of mine who had just moved to LA, who is also very big Housewives fan. And so he would do a quick recap. And I was I need you to give me 90-second recap of whatever episodes just happened. So he would do it really fast, and then I would go through and I would talk about something that was very Housewives related. And then we started to bring in guests. We had Militia Skunt. We had a few other people as guests, and it was a fun show. We would just record it at Oasis on a green screen. Then we had a couple editors who would make it look very Trixie and Katya type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently it was pretty popular. I had no idea, and I just was whatever. And Oasis TV was kind of expensive, and I got feedback that a lot. It was one of the things that people were streaming a lot because they were this is fucking crazy. They loved the idea of, and on the show, it would just be a guy, one of the go-go dancers, and it would be a scene of women fighting in the background, one iconic scene, and they'd be in front of it, and and I loved that, and I was so, and now that's in the show. So that was all in the pandemic, and then everything opened up, and I like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, like 2020, like at the end of 2022. I had pitched like, hey, you guys really like my show. I really want to turn it into a stage thing, right? And Darcy, the owner of Oasis, and her assistant Snacks, who's like a big performer as well, they were like, okay, we don't watch Housewives, so we don't know anything. Like, we would love to do something for Housewives because we see that some drag queens do stuff, and we would love to. We'll give it to you, like, do it, and we'll see how it goes, right? And I was like, okay. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And I was like, all right, I need to make a show that is like a love letter to the Housewives, that is chaotic, that is really like my voice. And my husband, Chris, was really like instrumental in helping me with a lot of it. So he wasn't sure what he wanted to do, but he came on as like a co-producer and would just kind of help keep me in line, because sometimes I would get like my ideas would go really crazy. And
so is he a Housewives fan as well?
Or was he? I guess?
Here's the thing. One of the things that I like to say is that I worship at the Church of Bravo, and my apostles are the Housewives. And so I have converted him into a Housewives fan. He did not watch the Housewives. And I was like, well, first of all, if you and I are ever going to have sex, like, you need to know who I'm talking about. And so I got him into the first season of Salt Lake City and the like final season of Dallas with Tiffany Moon. And it was really nice because, and I know he can hear me right now, but like, as a secret, he still is always like, no, I watch it for Pablo, but no joke, we'll be in like the car, and he'll be like, I've been thinking a lot about like what Erica Jane said last night in the episode, and I'm just getting so upset with her. I can't wait for the next episode when I know those women are just gonna rip into her. Like, I'm like, yeah, sure. You do it
it's
for
hard
me.
to resist. It's hard to resist.
It's so easy to get drawn into it, right?
Yeah. I never watched Housewives before I started dating Jeff. Like, I was one of those like, Housewives, meh. But then we
moved in.
It wasn't until we moved in really that he had me watch, and it was one of the Beverly Hills reunions.
The season 8.
I thought we watched an Atlanta reunion before that.
We did.
But either way, like he just dipped my feet in the water by having me watch reunions, and having no clue, I was like, wait, she's delusional, right? He's like, oh yeah, totally.
Oh, like, no, and it's so, because the thing is, I hate to like put this out there, but like, I love talking shit about people, and the Housewives makes it so easy to talk shit, because then like, they're not going to come back and be like, what the fuck did you say? I'll be like, nothing, right? Like, I don't know, I just said you're pretty. But like, you can talk shit and be like, oh my God, this one's crazy. And like, I love gossip. So it's like, just it's giving me life. It's
absolutely great. Yeah.
But one of the things that I do talk a lot about when it comes to the Housewives is, and like, I in my show, I always make a joke about it at the beginning of like, if you don't watch the Housewives, you're a misogynist and all that stuff. But I actually do truly believe, and the amount of arguments I have gotten into, and I am not, and you can ask my husband, I am not someone that like holds back. Like, if I see a belt, I go below it immediately. Like, fuck you. And so like,
that's another tag. Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like, I've had so many like gay guys be like, well, I don't watch Housewives. If I'm going to watch something, I'm going to watch like, women talking about how they became CEOs. And I was like, oh, so for you hate women so much that women can only be exceptional for you to pay attention to. You don't give a fuck about like women just navigating their own friendships. Oh no, I get it. Why don't you go fucking hate yourself some more? Fucking leave me alone. I don't like you. I don't do this shit. I don't talk with misogynists. I don't talk with people that hate women. We're done. Like, I am always like that. It's not the best. And they're always like, whoa, you're very, that's why they kept like telling me in Bologna, like, you need to make your own show because you are aggressive. And I was like, I am not. But yeah, no. Yeah. So what was crazy is the first show sold out a week before.
Oh, wow.
And Oasis realized there is an audience for Housewives.
Yeah.
And they kept adding seats. And so like now ticket sales like fluctuate because like stuff happens. And it came at a really good time when stuff was opening up, but like parties weren't around just yet. Like the things were getting its footing. But it has been like well received. People love it. Like I remember Heklina came to, I think the first one before she passed, and was literally like, this is the weirdest show I've ever fucking seen. I don't know what I'm watching. I feel like I watched a comedy show in a different language, and I kind of want to watch The Housewives now. And I was like, that's all I want. I just want to like spread the joy.
Well, one of our friends who we go with often, he comes back every time we go. He's never watched Housewives, but he loves your show.
Oh, I love that.
He brought his boyfriend with him who's never watched Housewives. He's like, I don't know what's going on, but it's great.
Like he'll lean over and say, did that really happen on the show? I'm like, yes, there was a mime in the background. They were having a fight.
Oh my God. This mime is like, it is because one of the things, like I love revisiting the Housewives with people. So like one of my clients had never watched Housewives, but he really liked reality TV, and I was really surprised. So I was like, hey, you really need to get into it. And he was trying to figure out which one to watch. And I told him, start with the easiest one, start with Salt Lake, because it's easy to get through seasons and you kind of pick it up. Then you can start figuring stuff out. Like it's the one that kind of gets you in. It's really easy. Loved it. He watched 4 seasons in a week and a half.
Oh.
And then he went to Beverly Hills and got caught up in 3 weeks. And I was like, how do you make time? He's like, my job is suffering right now. Like, I don't know what to do, but I love these women. And he would always repeat, like, I remember this, I remember that. And I kind of would forget about some stuff, but I would be like, it is so rich in content that's so utterly insane. Like, how does this happen? Like,
I don't know how much I would retain if I watch it all in like a 3-week period. Like, there's so many like things and taglines and just slogans that you end up walking around your day-to-day life muttering. But if you had it all crammed in 3 weeks, that'd be crazy.
It's a lot, right? And like right now he's watching Dallas and he's like, what the fuck? They need to bring this back. Like, this is crazy. But he hasn't seen I don't know if you guys watched Dallas, but he hasn't seen the last season with Leanne kind of losing it. So I was like, you'll see why it doesn't come back.
No, I never saw Dallas. You watched one season?
I didn't watch Dallas. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Dallas came out at it was the same time as Potomac.
Yes.
And I was like, I can only do one more new one.
It took me a while.
Yeah.
Same. It took me a while, and I started with Potomac. And even then, the first season of Potomac, I was like, I can see something, but it wasn't until the second season that I was like, okay, this is something. Then I got into Dallas, and I was like, ooh. Who is this Carney? Like,
if we have to ask the traditional question of rankings, if you had to rank the franchises, where do they fall? Like, what's your top 5?
Okay, so right now, obviously, my favorite is Salt Lake City. Salt Lake, I think, just from the jump off, has been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed. Just everything about it it's so comical. Like it's the
campiest thing out there.
It is the campiest one. And like, I keep telling people, like, I don't think you guys understand. A woman married her grandfather, and it was an arranged marriage. Like, what the fuck? Like, and I have to explain, not blood, but still, it's the same.
Yes.
And then I would say Miami second. I love Miami, especially new Miami. Original, like old at the time was like fine, but I was like, it's okay. Then Potomac. Then I would say Beverly Hills. And then, I love them all. Like, I can't, but like maybe then New York, and then like possibly like New Jersey. I did like Dubai, but I could see why. Like, I could see like why no one wanted to like really watch it. I remember I did watch DC, and I remember that one. And but yeah, like OC, I watched it, but I didn't like it for the longest time. I was like, it was always really hard. Last season.
When he got me started on Housewives, I was like, well, why don't we watch the OC? And he's like, it's just a bunch of blonde white women. I can't tell them apart.
And no one was likable. I was like,
no.
I came in late to the game with OC, and then I dropped it really easily because I was like, I'm not feeling this. I don't like anybody here.
Yeah.
And then, surprisingly, after Tamara got fired and she started her own podcast, I was like, I really like Tamara now. Like, she's really entertaining and like
she
lovable.
is. See,
like,
they are the ones that are like the most obvious Republicans. Like, I don't know if I can say that. They're the most obvious, and it's interesting. I want my housewives to be delusional old women who have money that I can't have. And I feel like old OC was like my aunt that married a man with a nice job. Like, that's how I always saw it. And like everyone has that aunt.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always saw them. And I think because they originally started as like, we just want to show like, suburban women in a gated community. I think they always try to keep to that like formula. And it wasn't until I know like everyone hates her, and I get it, but on the show, I loved her because she was so mean. But it wasn't until Kelly Dodd joined that I was like, now we have she's the cruelest person ever.
Right.
And I was like, the show needed someone to like mix it up and be like, just bully these women for a sec. Right? Like, I needed that. And then we got Shannon Bedore, who was unwell at all times. And I was like, okay, stuff is starting to come in. But I think last season I liked Noella. Like, I like when she came on. I liked her season, which was like 2 seasons ago or so, 3 seasons ago, something like that. But this last season, I was like, okay, OC, I got you. Like, we're good. Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So
for me,
that's where I would rank them.
I can see it's the perfect level of delusional. Like, it's gotten there now where like there's enough self-awareness, enough unawareness that like it balances itself out, where you're just like, okay, this is ridiculous. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, it's also really funny to watch the evolution of the Housewives. Like, I've been watching it for so long where I'm like, okay, first of all, everyone had brown in their house, like, and now everything is white.
There's a Tuscan kitchen everywhere.
Everywhere. Yes, Tuscan Mediterranean, a lodge. Like, everyone was like, oh my God, everything was a sky top. Do you remember sky tops?
Sky tops, yeah.
Everything was that. And I was like, okay, no one's doing a Chico's fashion show, right? Like, no one's trying to be like, I buy designer, right? Like, no one's doing that with Chico's. So that's what it was at first. Then it started to evolve, and I think it was really like Beverly Hills that was like, no, we like glamour, we like Hollywood, we like fashion. That really added that in. And then it really started to evolve into like what we see now. But it's really interesting to watch the evolution of like, I guess like wealthy suburban women to now like fashionista fashion, and like the really interesting one to me is like real. It was just like women being like, fine, follow my life, like, I don't care. And now it's like, when I grow up, I want to be a housewife. And then they become housewives. Like, we get Monica, we get Noella, we get all these people that were like, I watched this as a teenager. I had accounts that like, I had like Instagram accounts dedicated to this. And now I'm on the show. This is now a viable career to be a housewife, right? Like, a select few, but still, like, it's really interesting to see how that goes, right? Now they break the wall all the time, and
a little too much, a little
too much, right? And it's really interesting, kind of this referential, like self-referential, like, I'm pissed off at you because you signed up for this show, right? Like, and that now the show is its own character that kind of plays and tinkers around with the dynamics. But yeah, it's really fascinating.
Well, it's funny, like they used to say too, like, back in New York, and it's like, and they were talking about the reunion, but they couldn't say reunion.
Exactly.
And now like, you at the reunion, you really pissed me off.
On Watch What Happens Live, you said. At BravoCon, you said. And Stop the Camera 2 episodes ago, like you said, right? Like, all those things are starting to happen, which is interesting, right? Like, I'm not sure, like.
Well, I think with the new New York, they kind of drove the point home that being too self-referential can be hurtful to the show. I feel.
I'm with you. Yeah, with Bryn and just everyone essentially. Yeah. I agree with that. They totally did that. So, and I think it was smart.
Yeah. So it's very clear going to your show. You like the old school stuff. Like you go way back. You do deep cuts on all the shows. But I'm just assuming you're a way bigger proponent of old New York than new New York.
So here's the thing. I'm sure my grandmother was Dora or Dory. Like I have like no memory for anything. So like I'm one of those people that like, you can say fuck you to me and then you can be like, your butt looks good. And I'll be like, oh my God, we've been like best friends forever. Like, I love you. Like, I don't even remember what you said earlier. So I love old New York. I think it's great. But then new New York came and I was like, oh, this is new. Obviously, I like it. Like I'm an easy sell. Like I'm an easy sell. And I did like it. Until like, but to your point, like, I think they got they're too overly produced. It is too many women who were like, hope one day I'm going to be a real housewife and this is how I'm going to do it. Right. Like it's a little too much of that, except for Jessel, where I'm like, I love Jessel because I feel like Jessel at all points is always like, she's like coming out of a Xanax fog. Like, wait, where are we again? Oh, this is where we're at. Okay. Like, I like that. But I did like the first new New York season. It was mellow, but it was like fun to like meet new people.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It was like it's an experiment that I think didn't go as planned.
Do you think there's going to be? I mean, there's going to be a third season of it. I mean, you're pretty sure?
I think so. I think so. Actually, what I would like is for them to bring back Ebony and to bring back Leah McSweeney.
But politically, I don't know if that's going to happen between all the lawsuits.
I think once you see
I don't
Andy.
think so. I know. I know.
You get Nene Leakes on there too.
But I would love for them to hire Naomi Campbell as a real housewife, like in New York, and I want her to go after Uba, because I don't know if you ever watched The Face, that reality show that Naomi Campbell judged. There was a scene that she was like, she tells one of the other like model mentors, you will never be me, and like I want to see her go like that to Uba. I just want to see because like Uba was like, Naomi, wish you were me, and I want to hear that. I want to see Naomi's confrontation of that.
Like, no.
Yes, but like I think we are kind of done with a lot of the women from it. Like, love Dorinda, but I think it's time to kind of like figure something else out. But I do want to try to bring back some of that. Like, I don't know. Like I don't know.
There was you go ahead.
I feel like, well, most of them have like moved out of New York.
So they're all like in Florida now.
Yes, in Boca.
Yeah, exactly.
Sonia sold that damn townhouse. She's out of there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I would say, like, I would like Luann to maybe come back if anyone who was like the most likable of that old bunch.
And she's definitely the most like. She's definitely the one that like summarizes old New York the best, right? Like the Countess, former Countess, Cabaret. Like it's really, if she came back, she would definitely like kind of be the foot in the door of like, you're rooted in me, like, and like now see what happens with you.
Yeah.
So we were having this discussion earlier and last night when I fell asleep on the couch. I'm having a hard time with Atlanta this season. Like, I can tell it has all the ingredients. I just don't care yet. Like, I think mainly because there's not a through line from previous seasons. Like, it's great Portia's back. I love it.
Yeah.
Knowing what happens with Kenya, like, I wish Kenya didn't have that because I think if she was more featured, it'd be great. But I've never cared about Drew and her divorce. Like, it just doesn't matter to me. And then tying it all together with all the new women, I think they're all fabulous. I just don't know what
you don't care.
I just don't care yet.
Yeah.
I think that's like the other experiment of like, let's recast and reboot half of it and see kind of what happens.
And I really want the experiment to work because I'm really worried about Jersey. I want that experiment to work for Jersey.
Yeah. I have, maybe it's a controversial thing about Jersey, but I actually think there's only one person in Jersey that needs to leave. I think it's only one. And then I think we can get something good.
Does it rhyme with Schmarisa?
Yep, Schmarisa, Schmorelis, Schmadici.
Schmazel.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the things that we're also kind of now seeing is the old guard, the Teresas, the Kyles, though they're interesting, they see it as this is my show, I can call the shots. And they kind of like make themselves a little irrelevant because they block things off. They don't allow like other women to have a breathing room, and they kind of create, it's like, the senior class president fighting with like, just random sophomore girls. Like, okay, you can't really do anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I think to like let these franchises like grow and breathe and evolve, some people like old guard needs to leave a little bit. And
it's interesting you say that about with Kyle and Beverly Hills, because I don't disagree with you on that, but I like Sutton. We want to like her more. But what is Garcelle? What are they really bringing to the show though on Beverly Hills? Like it's like if they add their own things that they were bringing outside of like, look at me, I bought a horse. I could see it. But yeah, it doesn't help that Kyle's being like not talking about Morgan and not really talking about things that are going on in her life. So it does make it hard. But if they had their own story, it would speak for itself.
100%. No, I'm with you. And I think one of the things that kind of makes it a little challenging is, one, you have people like Teresa, you have people like Kyle who have become so savvy about being in front of the camera and about being a housewife that inadvertently, like, everyone has to kind of revolve around her no matter what. And so you have someone like Sutton and Garcelle who I would like to know more about. Like, I want to know more drama that you have with other people. I want to like know other things about your life, right? Like, but to kind of remain relevant, you need to kiss the ring by fighting the ring, right? Like they are the Janice Ian to Kyle's Regina George, right? Like, they cannot exist without Kyle, but Kyle's kind of making everyone miserable because Kyle knows too well how to play the game, and then knows how to not say what she doesn't want to put out, how to do all these things, right? And so that's kind of
I think with Teresa, it's like you have to. I don't know that she loves the show enough to let it grow and not be all about her, and let somebody, like you said, let somebody else breathe, And so it makes it stagnant where you're like, it can't be her way. It can't be the Teresa show. It has to be the other women and having drama. So she can't be so offended when someone steps to her, because this is the show, conflict resolution. And she just takes it so personally and then won't film with somebody. And then it's like, where do you go from there? Well, so you're stopping growth.
Exactly. I think one of the things that is incredibly fascinating about the Housewives, and I actually really love, is that conflict resolution and is the interpersonal relationships and the evolution of these relationships of all these women, right? Like, every single woman has a falling out and then a getting back together. And you're seeing how these dynamics shift, dynamics change, how these women express themselves, and because of these dynamics, how they step into themselves. And then you have someone like Teresa that does not do resolution, cannot do literally cannot. Like, you piss her off and she's like, I'm so mad, like, at all, like, and that's it. Like, I sprinkle cookies, like, that's it. Like, we'll never get off it. It cannot leave her brain. She can't, like, at least for the show, like, it just nothing. It's just
the fact that they came on her show and didn't tell her. Like, how many seasons has it been since Melissa and Joe have been on the show, and she still is pissed about it?
Yeah, like, and it's also like your other people make decisions. Like, like, there are producers and all these other things that happen for the show. It's not.
Yeah, it's not like Melissa and Joe said, we're going to be on the show. Like,
and
they
then
were offered and they
contract. And it's also like, this show more than like New Jersey, more than any other, is about like like the close-knit community, the like family, like it's always, like I'll stand up for my family, like it's always that. And so of course your fucking sister-in-law is going to be on the show. Like you signed up for a show that follows your life and you made it about like everyone was related for season except for you. Like that, you were the only one. Like, of course they're gonna try to find something, right? And so, yeah, of course. And though I will never. Every time I talk about Teresa, I just remember from House of Villains, New York, telling her, "I've been a fan of yours and your hairline for a very long time." I just love it.
We were so hopeful when Teresa was on the Ultimate Girls Trip, when she was kind of relaxed and just kind of being personable.
So likable.
So that's something people say. Like Teresa, like everyone that like interviews her and all that stuff says that she's actually incredibly warm in person. And like I have this book that talks about like all these housewives and like from the producers and cameramen and showrunners and all their standpoint. And they are like, she's one of the only ones who, when they're making food, she's making enough for the cameramen and the people in the house. Like she's actually feeding them, which I think is really very beautiful. I think it's really nice. And so like seeing her on the show and like she seems to have a reputation of being like a hothead. And I'll say like, if I don't want her to come after me, a reputation of like not being the brightest.
Right.
Right. Right. So like, I guess like kindness is easy when you don't have like.
We can just leave it there. Kindness is easy.
For people that can make you look good. Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
So yeah.
So we're going to meander all over the place, and we could talk about all the different housewives all together. But so for your show, though, you've had Ashley, Sutton, and Whitney. Is there someone else we've missed?
No. I was also supposed to have Marisol, but like,
what's right?
5 days before, I was contacted by the agent and was like, unfortunately Marisol can't make it because she is being booked because they're doing some press tour thing for Housewives in New York, and she's going to be there that weekend. I'm really sorry. And so I couldn't like find anyone, and so it was supposed to be like at the last one last year, the one after Whitney, but I just ended up not having anyone because they're kind of expensive. So I was like, okay. And so I was like, it's fine. I do love Marisol. I think she would have been so fun. And so that was fine. And so, yeah, it's actually kind of fascinating. Like, it was originally people just started tagging housewives like during my show before I got any housewives, and they all got super interested in it. And then some like agent that represents all the housewives and all the drag queens from Drag Race who has a relationship with Bravo was like, Bravo reached out to me, all these housewives are reaching out to me about this show, like, who are you, what is this about, let's have a relationship. And he's awesome, and so I talked to him a lot, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's really nice. That's awesome. And so he's like, I can get you all these, and we can figure this out, we can try to make it work. And it was great. And
well, when we were fangirling over Whitney and Justin, when we met them,
so nice.
They were so like
hot.
They were just so upfront and just like, it's amazing that this exists. They were just saying like, this doesn't happen anywhere else in the country. And that, like, fact that this is like, and they're like so happy to be doing it and like just part of it, they seemed like in awe of what you're doing. And so it was just such a crazy thing to see, because we're sitting there fangirling out, and then they're like, no, like, this just doesn't happen anywhere else. And it feels good to be able to come out here and be with fans who clearly love what we're doing, So.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because with my experience with the housewives that have come, they love it so much that they have texted Andy Cohen about it, like in the show, like backstage or whatever. They're like, oh my God. And like Ashley Darby did it, and she was like, Andy, you got to get like, oh my God. And Sutton and her agent did it as well.
So why haven't you been the bartender on Watch What Happens Live yet?
That's what I've been saying. I want to be a bartender on Watch What Happens Live so bad. I wanted, that's a dream come true. But it was actually Whitney Rose who was like, her and her husband were like really, you know, like they were very impressed. They talked, she called me the next day and she was like, I don't know what, but you need to take this on the road. Like she was like, bring it to, because they like Salt Lake opened this thing that's kind of similar to Soho House that she's a part of. And she was like, you need to bring it here. And I was like, I would love to, but it can get kind of like the way that the show's designed. I can see that it can get challenging, but if people are going to pay for it and like do this stuff, like I'll fucking do it, right. You know? And she was like, and honestly, you need to take this to BravoCon. We've talked to Andy knows about this, like, you know, people at Bravo. And I used to be a coach on Tonal, and it's like this Peloton like strength, it's connected fitness, a strength training thing that you mount on the wall, and there's a lot of people that use it, and it was like all over the country. And one of the other coaches, one of her fans that then became a friend of hers is like some bigwig at Bravo, and literally we went to a wedding in New York of one of the other tonal coaches, and she was like, hey, I got to talk to you. So I'm staying with this person who like works at Bravo, and apparently like a week or two ago, they had a meeting about your show, and they are very impressed about about Hunks and Housewives. They had a meeting about and I was like, whoa. And I immediately was like, fuck, I'm going to get like a cease and desist. I'm going to like get in some trouble. Yeah, right. And she was like, no, they're very happy. They're keeping an eye on it. And the Housewives are kind of feeding them information. And apparently all the Housewives are now kind of trying to get in the show, and they love it because it's keeping the fandom alive. It's something that they don't have to invest in, that's like still keeping the fandom alive.
That has to be gratifying, but also a lot of pressure at the same time, like knowing that like
I am at the same time like orgasming of like how gratifying it is, and then like buying preparation H from all the hemorrhoids I'm getting at all the pressure that this feels like. It's insane. But no, I feel like it's like a brag, because I was like, oh my God, like Bravo's talking about my shit. Like, this is crazy. I never thought that something like this would happen, because it really is just like this local show that, you know, these amazing goddesses and now just know of.
I was going to ask, like, what goes into like putting together the show? Like, how do you like...
So
just a lot of acid and
a lot of acid. I'm doing Andy Cohen amounts of cocaine. No, so I start thinking about like what's happening on the shows, right? Like I'm looking at it. So one of the things that's really important, and so my husband Chris is a lot better at making sure that I stick to like a specific formula, which is you need a big like number that is kind of chaotic. You need a couple smaller ones, and then you need like audience participation and all that stuff. And so we try to play around a little bit with like mini readers theaters for this one, but originally, like the Reader's Theater was something that I really liked, but I knew, because I only have like 3 weeks to prepare for it. Once, like, you know, I know I have like 3 weeks, because that's when people are available for rehearsals. I can't have people memorize lines and blocking in 3 weeks with all this other stuff. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to give them scripts and they're going to read it, and I'm just going to pretend that it's like high class. And originally, one of like the directors of Bologna who was helping me out he was like, I don't know if this is going to go over well. Like, I don't think it's going to go well. And he was like, holy shit, that's so good. Like, your Reader's Theater is really good. Yeah, right.
It has that snobbiness of like
of a housewife
so seriously, but yeah, exactly.
Yes, right. And so my thing is, I want this show to be very much like a Real Housewives episode, where it's like it is glamorous and cute and glitzy, but like don't look behind the curtain, because everyone is panicking and it's being held together by tape, and like that's it, like the bump, it's about to fall out. And so it's like a lot of like planning. And for me, so I come up with all the numbers, and I'll talk to Chris, and Chris gives me great ideas, and we'll use them. And he was the one who was like, you should do a come to my window number because I was trying to figure out, what do I do for like this Mary Cosby, you know, bar mitzvah thing. I'm not sure. And he was like, oh, do this. And I was like, brilliant. And went over well. It was great, amazing. It was a wonderful finish. So I'm really proud of him for that. And so we just come up with that. And then it depends on who's in it. There are some people that are like stronger readers, or some people that are stronger performers. And so one of the things that we've decided, like, one of the things that I want to try now is like shorter readers theaters where we can get just a little bit more, because everyone can see like, what the fuck? This is weird. Though I will say the Miami gondola ride was so insane that it just made sense to kind of do the entire thing in 2 parts, right? Like, but yeah, like, and the audience participation is incredibly important, because for me, Housewives only works when you're kind of cheering it on and talking about it and experiencing it with other people. And so that's why, like, I think one of the other things with Hunks and Housewives is you guys, the audience, are fucking crazy. Yeah. I don't know if so I was told by Oasis that my show drinks more than any other show. Like, it is like all these shows. So you have cabaret shows that are the sit down shows. So like Bologna, which I'm in, you've had other plays and all that stuff. They're sit down shows, and like they'll drink, and like some are a little bit rowdy. So like, let's say this is like alcohol sales. And then Hunks and Housewives is like beyond, like, they're like, what the fuck? Like, we're sweating. We can't keep up. Like, people are drinking the same amount as like a Princess. And Princess is their standing club drag performances. People are dancing, like 500 people night. Like I think just wild.
Housewives, despite the image Bravo's trying to recuperate from, Housewives gives you permission to drink.
It's Housewives 100% gives you permission to drink. Like, and it's just fun.
Line up the shots.
Line up, like, anytime a housewife gets mad, and take a shot, and then like we're all in the hospital. But and so to me, I think part of that I don't know, my head, I was told, is pretty chaotic, and like Chris tells me I'm like a Tasmanian devil, so I was like, well, I want that energy for everyone else. So like I think like getting people to participate, getting people to scream, getting people to come up on stage and do all that stuff is a way, like, people need to drink alcohol, but I think it's a way to really experience, and that's why it becomes really rowdy, and then that's why we end up having people breaking fucking.
We were there when that guy got punched, standing in line to
poor guy.
And
that guy that punched him, I did not like him. From the beginning, he was rowdy. He was doing weird ass shit. There was someone else in the audience that was like trying to do psychic Reiki on everyone, and that was a thing. There's a lot.
Yeah, it was strange that night. Not that night. The night was great, but like after the show, we were all waiting in line. That guy was not making any sense. And it was the sort of thing everyone
out of
it's great. The community that was there was trying, like, can we help you? Can we get you somewhere else? And he just wasn't having it, and unfortunately, it got nasty. But that's what I'm assuming Kevin gets free tickets from now on, though, right?
I mean, he took one for the team, right? Like, he took one for the team. He's lovely. And I didn't know. I heard about that. I never met him. And then the next day, I was at the Eagle, and I was talking to a friend of mine about like, oh, apparently this happened, and then this guy looks at me, takes off his glasses, full black eye, like he had stitches because the guy grabbed his phone and broke it, like hit him in the face with it. And he was like, yep, I'm the guy that got hit. And I was like, whoa, what? And he was like, yeah, we talked about it. He kind of like told me exactly what happened, and I met him, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh my God, like I don't want, I want everyone to be rowdy in a fun way, not that.
Yeah, there's nothing you could have done about that. That guy was just he was on another plane.
Also the fact that like Kevin like stayed in line to meet Whitney after getting assaulted. That's a fan.
And that's a fan. And apparently she was like, baby, like she was so sweet to him. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Okay.
Look who hurt you.
I know, right?
So have you gone to BravoCon ever?
I haven't. So Ifan, one of the guys in the show, he's gone. He goes and he's like, you have to go. But sorry, you were saying?
No, I say we went last time in Vegas.
2023.
How was it?
It was a full-time job. And we didn't even have the podcast yet. We were just trying to make it to every panel and just kind of just absorb it all.
Ooh,
and it
sounds like
a 9 to 5 job, like panels and the photo ops and like making time for lunch.
And we were just there for Housewives. If we were there for all that other boat shit and, summer house people, we would have
God. Yeah. I can imagine. No, I hear it is packed. Like it is a lot.
It was also the year that Scandival broke. So it was like right after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people were like, and he was there, and it was
Ooh, the
if you ever get a chance to go, it's worth it. It is really worth it.
Yeah, no, that's something that I would really like to do. I don't know when it's coming back.
It's November.
It's supposed to happen in November, but they haven't announced the dates yet.
Okay. So and
they did. They just haven't. Tickets have not gone on sale yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, like, technically, I guess I should, because I can like write it off on my taxes. I'm like, this is work research. Yes, right. It's work research. Let's do this. No, I would love to go to BravoCon. I think it would be. I do like that it's in Vegas, right? It's a little bit closer to us, California people.
Yes, and it fits it well because they do conferences there all the time and cons, so like it should be there
100%. Yeah.
Our story was that we were standing in line and after the Beverly Hills panel, and we were talking about what we just seen, and this woman behind us said, "Do you guys have a podcast? Because like you sound like you know what you're talking about." And we're like, "No, we're just two husbands who watch Bravo." And she's like, "Well, I would listen to you if you had a podcast." And then we'd already been thinking about it, and then we're like, and then he got.
That was the universe's way of telling us.
That was 100% right. Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
And now we have all of 50 listeners.
Perfect. That's all you need. Loyal 50. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's all you need. Yeah, no. I love that. That's great. I mean, Housewives fans, we're a community and we stick together. We're family. Yeah, we stick together.
Oh no, it was the most amazing thing. You'd be in the middle of a panel in one room and you would just hear cheering out in the distance, and you're like, there's someone walking across the expo floor.
Well, that's what happens. Like at the first time it happened, we're just like walking in the expo. They sell all their wares, and we hear like this screaming. And we're like, "What is happening?" And like Shannon had entered the floor, and this is like right after the DUI.
Was it just Shannon screaming? Because I can imagine like that, and be like, "Ah!
Where are my lemons?"
I know, right? Right. Oh my God. No, that's amazing.
Like, oh my God. And this woman like next to us was like, "What's going on? Is that Shannon?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she like screamed like she was seeing the Beatles. And I'm like, "Okay, calm down."
Yeah. Also,
that's how they all are.
I hear Shannon is tall. I always envision Shannon Bedore being small. Is she?
I don't. She seemed average size to me.
Average?
I could maybe on the taller side of women, I suppose. Okay. But she's no.
Because Tamara's so short.
Yeah.
She's no like Nene Leakes or Cynthia, or
right.
I can imagine.
She's not 5'10". No.
Who's like, okay.
Yeah. And she's certainly no Kelly from Atlanta this season.
Kelly? Oh, Kelly, no, because she's very short.
Yeah, Kelly's like,
that woman is like this. She's like the size of a troll doll that you put on your pencil. That woman is tiny.
Then they had the gall to have Cynthia stand next to her.
Give her a hug. Then Cynthia gave her a hug, and Cynthia had to like go down 2 flights of stairs just to hug this woman.
Herself.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my God, no, Cynthia saw, and they were both wearing super high heels. She is so tiny.
So it sounds like for your next Hunks and Housewives, you're probably. I'm assuming you're going to try to get Marisol actually out for your next as soon as you can.
Yeah. I would love to do Marisol, but like it always changes because there's one of the things. Like I originally really wanted Monica, but since she's not coming back, I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
Right.
And I would, I'm trying to see like who's cool, like what's happening. So. Also, who could I afford? Because apparently, like, I was able to afford Sutton, and I don't know how. Because the other women are like 10 to 15 times more expensive than that.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think I think it just like Sutton didn't know what this was, right? And like, but I really, really, really want Mary Cosby. I think that would be a very people would be like really intrigued by that one.
That could go really bad though.
I know.
If she's not in the mood.
and so the other one that I would the other one that I would really love 100% and happy. She would need to be happy. The other one I would love is like I obviously Bronwyn from Salt Lake, because she's like a Bay Area native, so it's perfect for her, right? Yes. I really would love like a Jessel, a Jenna Lyons, a Bryn, like some of the girls from the new ones, but I don't know what's happening with that. So, and I really wanted Danielle, the new Danielle from New Jersey.
Yeah,
she would be.
When you saw her backstage after a photo op, she was like strapping on some of her boots. She looked like a fembot from Austin Powers. She was so gorgeous.
So pretty.
I can yeah, you can see. I would love because she's so fucking cool, and I think I don't know, like I just want her so bad. So hopefully like we find out that she's coming back to Jersey, and then I would probably, because I also don't want to keep repeating like specific franchises. So if I could get her, I'm doing it. Like I want to hang out with her, bring her husband, let's go out, like let's make it a thing so she has fun and then goes back and is like, I love this place, like let's do that, you know. Like I want she seems like because the other thing that we noticed was Sutton had fun, but like Sutton kind of left and like she was done, so we were like, okay. Ashley Darby had fun, stuck around, and was like, yeah. Whitney Rose, the exact same thing, stuck around, and they partied, they had fun. And I was like, okay, that's the energy that I want to bring. I want to bring someone that wants to stay and party and really kind of, you know, when a housewife comes, one of the things that's really important to me is to make sure that I don't want to present them in a bad light. Like I want to be like, hey, I respect that you're here. Let's like cast like a really good queen to play you. Let's kind of cast you in a good light. Let's have fun with you. Let's do this. And so that you feel like we're not like punching down or that people dislike you, because at the same time they're people and you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable or criticized or whatever. And so like I just want them really to have a good time, because I have a good time watching what they do. I just want to extend that, right? And
and let's be game for it. I feel like.
Yeah, and they have to be game for it. Now, apparently Giselle is really interested, and Giselle is fun. Apparently she's fucking fun. That's what the guy keeps telling me. He's like, listen, I can get you Giselle. She is ready. She is excited. It's fun. And I was like, okay.
That would be interesting.
I think Giselle on this, because like sometimes we don't love Giselle on the show, but I think Giselle like
in real life,
would be really fun.
Oh yeah. No,
but she would try to produce your show. I don't know how you feel about that.
She probably would. She wouldn't tell me anything about her life, but she would, you know, produce the show. Yes, she does. Yeah. No, I mean, like,
and Robin would probably just come along for the fun of it,
and people would be like, "I know you from something." The other one that I would love is Chanel Ayan. Like, give me Chanel Ayan, but I don't even know what that is.
He and Uba are so nice. We had a photo op with them at BravoCon, and like they were just like talking, like we were wearing certain colors, and like, oh no, honey, you have to stand over here so we look better. And they were just like, she had a whole conversation with Jeff. It was crazy.
I didn't mean to, but I was like, I don't know what possessed me, but I said, you know, the fact that you brought up your experience and what happened to you, I thought it was going to be very helpful to people. And she got just so serious and like just zeroed in on me. And like, it's like, thank you for saying that. Cause I got so much like, you know, flack for, you know, telling my truth. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like bring this down. But she was like just so nice and just really had an actual like
on Traitors. She seemed so fun and,
yes,
but on the show she seems really fun. Like I love her.
Yes,
she's really cool. Yeah, she's great.
No, they'd be good.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
I didn't think about Giselle. I think just now that I'm sinking in, Giselle would be a good get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And she has to be a good sport about how she doesn't dress well. I mean, come on.
I hope so. Maybe we'll do a GNA fashion show just to like give
there
it to
are no
her.
fashions.
There's no fashions.
Go to the website.
Man.
There are no fashions.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's true. Sorry.
Yeah, we wanted to buy something. There wasn't anything there. So.
No, but now it's about health and
It's a lifestyle
It is.
brand.
It's a lifestyle brand. It's like Goop, right?
Whatever.
Community outreach. Yes.
Community outreach. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Speaking about Potomac, we had no clue that at the last show when you showed that clip of Gordon and Mia getting married, I had no clue that existed. Like, was that from a reality show?
It's from Say Yes to the Dress.
Oh.
And she was like, I believe she was 27. She was 27. She had her old face. She had all of that. And I didn't see Jacqueline either. I was like, interesting.
I was trying to look for her there, but
I forgot about Jacqueline.
Maybe Jacqueline had an old face too.
Maybe one of those was Jacqueline. Yeah, that's really that's really fascinating.
Did you know that, or did you was that just something in your memory bank there, or did you?
No, well, I never watched Say Yes to the Dress, and then I heard that she had been on some reality stuff, just like with Danielle Cabral, who was like, I want to be Britney Spears' best friend or whatever. She was also doing that. So I heard that about Mia, but I never paid much attention to it. And then I just saw people posting about it. And I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. So it was great. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, no, now that we know where it is, I think we're going to be doing some YouTube searching. And
exactly, right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I also had not heard I'm with the DJ in so long.
I love that song. And also I know he's not a DJ, he's like a VJ, like a radio personality. He's a radio personality, but I say DJ, it's all good.
It works out.
But I love that damn song. Like that song is that's in like top 5 songs of my life. Love it.
What do you think of all these records?
Why? Oh, come on. But the DJ, okay? I love, and now she should be a housewife in Orange County because she's a real estate agent of luxury real estate in Orange County, Catalina.
Oh.
And she looks like a housewife.
It's funny. There was before, I think this last season or the season before, Tamara posted stuff with an actual black lady. And they went to Disneyland, whatever, and we thought is she trying out for the show? And then nothing came of it, and we're like, oh, that's disappointing.
That also happened in New Jersey. There was a woman who was tagged in some stuff, and then you go on her Instagram and she's like, Real Housewives of New Jersey, and I remember never seeing, and she never showed up in a background of a part, nothing. So I don't know what happened with her. And I was like, why are they erasing these black women from these shows? Come on. For real.
Oh, damn production.
I know. They really need to step it up.
Yeah. I think I'm getting fresh out of questions. I mean, again, we could talk all night, but do we have all night? I don't know.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, the thing I know that we're going to talk about Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, because you saw last night's episode, so you're okay. I think we jumped around, but are you enjoying so far?
I'm having a great time. This is perfect. Yeah, I just hope I hope you guys are enjoying it too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, you're great.
Okay.
No, but specifically with Atlanta, this last episode of Atlanta, what were your thoughts?
There's a few. I'm kind of with you guys. I'm having a hard time. I think this last season of Potomac and this current season of Atlanta, I'm having a hard time keeping track of who is what. And I think part of it is I see Kenya, but I don't see Kenya. And I'm also waiting for Phaedra. And I'm kind of what's happening? I'm not. There's one. All I remember is 99 knows, and I forgot her name. Some people aren't
Yeah, there's some
standing up. Yeah. That's essentially what I'm getting. Though I will say I did not know how Drew and Ralph's divorce. He's having her followed and stuff like that. That man sounds terrifying.
and doing a podcast now from his basement, apparently.
No better place to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do it from Louis' garage if I could.
He's a podcaster? Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Though, unfortunately, when she talks about how scary, how bad he is, and I'm like, oh my God, he's scary. I'm really into him. He is so fine. And all I hear is like, and he's dangerous? Oh my God. I can fix
Why can't you make it work, Drew?
No, because I'm going to make it work. No,
yeah, I did see in the scenes for next week. He does look particularly jacked.
He does
more than usual.
Yeah,
like he's been working out in the basement.
I'm saying he's lifting weights in the basement.
He's lifting weights. Oh, 100%. Also, I am not a fan of Cynthia's hair at that Balenciaga.
No,
I'm like Cynthia. Like, here's the thing: the only thing that is saving her is that woman has one of the most perfect faces I have ever seen, ever.
Yeah,
she's so gorgeous. That is just like, okay, but that hair does not look good on her.
I like to think as a friend, she's just bringing in half the effort. She's just like, I don't got the contract, so
I don't have the money. Yeah, I'm just going to throw some on.
This wig will do.
This wig will do. That's exactly, yeah. I am kind of, okay. Okay, Stacey. I am kind of surprised that she is back. Because I would love to, I liked her because I always felt that she was just a little bit of a dork in like a relatable, nice way. Yeah. And she was nice, but she didn't bring a lot to me other than like we're watching a beautiful woman, right? And so it's kind of interesting to see her as a friend of, because I'm like, you're bringing the same amount of energy. Like, I'd see you less. Like, no offense, like you're great. I'm sure like in person you're fucking fantastic.
Right.
But yeah. Kelly's she came for the big wig real fast. She came for Portia real fast.
And one. You got to ease into that, man.
Girl, I was like, you got to give her some poppers. You got to get some lube in there, and then you got to ram it in. But like that woman went so, and then like Portia just, I was kind of funny because Portia was like, let's figure it out, and like took control, right? Like, got it back.
I always worry. One thing that we've come to recognize is that when a new housewife makes it their storyline to come for one of the OGs, it never goes well.
It never goes well for them. Never.
So hopefully her poor tortured pink dog and the other things will help her recover from coming for Portia.
Yes, 100%. Oh, but she totally.
Like we liked, or we didn't dislike Anna Marie originally on Beverly Hills.
Anna
we wanted to give her a try, but when she made her whole storyline about Sutton's throat, we're just like, okay,
the esophagate. Oh,
you're
and then like her husband, and she's standing by her husband when he said all those like anti-trans homophobic stuff. You're like, oh, this is the wrong audience, girl.
Yeah. So no, now we don't like Anna Marie, but at the time, like we're just like, girl, don't come after someone.
Exactly. Yeah, you come out like fighting, and it doesn't work, right? No, and so, but luckily Portia like checked her
to control the narrative.
The narrative. What honestly, I'm just kind of, I love Portia's confessionals. That's where I think Portia really shines. You know, like I love that she says she's reframing instead of refrain. I'm reframing from drinking. I love that. I love that. I loved her whole like, you know, where's the audacity? And then I turned around and there's the audacity, her sister. I was like, okay, Portia is great with like the one-liners. She is so funny. And so I love Portia. So like she's always welcome on my TV. Like I think she's great TV. I think she's hilarious. I think she is a wonderful advocate. I think she's just perfect all around. But I don't want a show in which it's just kind of there's no dimension to anything. Right. Like Shamia is still just acting like Portia's lapdog right now. It's still like that hasn't shaken for me, and I had no idea about Shamia's life, and now I really want to know about. I had no idea she was so rich. The issue with her surrogate, the thing she's going through with her daughter. I was like, those are so fascinating, especially like the daughter thing. Like It's really fascinating that you're putting it out there. It's really humanizing you. I really love all this side of you, but I don't want you just to be there to defend Portia. Like, I want you, like, you're a good friend, and like that's pretty obvious. But I want to see how you kind of stand on your own a little bit more.
But yeah, really well.
I thought the scene with the surrogate was really great. Just the fact that they both felt so bad, like, oh, I feel bad that, you know, maybe my cancer might have caused your child's health issues. Maybe having you carrying my child might have caused your breast cancer.
That was rough, and in the sense that it was so real, and I really appreciated that was on, that we were able to see that. And so like I do find Shamia interesting. I think she's going. It seems like she's going through a lot. I want to see her overcome. I want to see her like really like, you know, see how powerful she is, because she can endure and be a beacon of strength and do all that stuff, right? Yeah. Though I did love her like that whole thing about the 99 no's. I was like, okay, and I want that Shamia too. I want Shamina. Like, come on, Shamina. Like, we need some Shamina.
I'm hopeful that after the new ladies get gel, and after they get all their like branding opportunities out of the way, I think that maybe we'll, like, if I see one more Cooking with Kelly cookbook, I'm gonna go nuts. Insurance. Yeah, like, I get it. You flip houses, all this stuff. We
need to talk about. I did not know that like insurance went that hard. Like, I had no idea.
What? Vicky Gunvalson is just quiet about it. Okay,
she ain't quiet. Yes, 100%. I was like, insurance is where it's at. Holy shit!
Yeah, I was like apparently I'm in the wrong job.
We are all in the wrong. I know. I was like, get rid of all this tech money. I'm doing insurance money. That's what I'm going to try to do. Like, what is up? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that for real. And her like, you know, I'm an insurance agent. I go to all the best parties. What?
Like,
yeah.
That's the thing.
Maybe I'm just having a hard time marrying reality with that delusion. I'm just like, I just don't imagine these, raucous insurance circuit parties.
Yeah, exactly. I can't.
It used to be a video vixen, so I think maybe that's where she's getting.
I think that's what it. And she was saying she was a video vixen in high school, and I was like, you were underage. Like, I just kept thinking, like, what? No, that's ain't the. Say you were a video vixen, like, when you were 18, right? Like, because I don't know.
Did your mom sign the waiver for you? I don't know.
I know. Was this a P. Diddy video? Like, I don't know. Right? Like, come on. That's not. Yeah, for real. Yeah, but I do. The new girls are kind of interesting. I think we're focusing a lot on them, but I'm not as compelled by them yet. But they're starting to like pique my interest. Not 90s knows. I don't remember her.
Oh, Angela.
Angela. I'm still like, I feel like every time I see her, I'm always like, who's this person? Like, I don't know this person. Who is she?
Well, they were calling her LaToya last time.
Well, that's what they called her. And I was like, oh, the nose is accurate.
The nose is accurate. Oh, yeah, that is going to imagine being her and then seeing all this and seeing what people were saying about you. You're like,
I did enjoy that they were like, even on the show, they were like, we shouldn't come for her nose. Like, well, she called me Flavor Flav.
She called me Flavor Flav, so it's fair. You came for her nose first. Like, come on. But yeah, I did love that Flavor Flav reference. I was like,
the gymnastics that they jump through to justify it. Yeah, like, we're not bad people.
No, I don't know. That is some like grade A mental gymnastics that all the housewives really do, just to kind of justify some of the mean shit that they say. These women will tear each other down in ways where I'm like, if anyone told me that, like, everyone would be attending my like funeral like the next week. I'd be like, I'm done. Like, I lived my life. I'm good. And they're just like, no, you bitch. Like, how the hell do I've been knocked off my feet at every moment. Oh my God.
Like, crying. I would cry.
Ugly crying. Like, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to.
I feel better now. Like, you're kind of in alignment with how I'm feeling about this season of Atlanta so far. Like, Jeff's been loving it. Like, he's been on the couch. Like, he's been jumping up and like, oh no. And I'm just like, what?
Is that Jeff?
last week you were like, oh, and you're like leaning forward, and meanwhile I'm like dozing off on the couch, like wait when something exciting happens.
Yeah, and the thing is,
get the Kenya Brit thing, that's when it's really gonna explode.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first episode was interesting. Like it really, that like right at the beginning there was some interesting stuff, and then I was like, okay, we'll see. I'm hopeful because Atlanta always, for the longest time, Atlanta was like
that
everything.
Bitch.
It was that bitch, right? It was that bitch. And then, the Sanya years, nothing against her, but I think they were just trying to find it like the last couple years.
What are you talking about? That's Tanya.
That's Tanya.
Tanya. Yeah, that's Tanya. No.
I'm Canadian. Okay. Do you know I'm from Canada?
Oh my God. We were like, yeah, no, you say it a lot. What are you talking about? I know how to spell Canada, C-A-N-A-D-A. I'm from Canada. No, I did like her just because she was so normal. And then the cookie thing happened, and I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Like, for a friend of, like, you went too hard. Like, she's just a friend of.
How come you've never done a bolo scene at Hunks and Housewives?
I would love to. And we talk about, we need to do a bolo scene. But like, it has to be perfect. And it has to be perfectly cast. And I really want to. Like, I want to get a bolo. I want to bring someone. Yeah, everyone has a shield. Everyone's trying to take shots through the shield, and they're like, and then like just bring someone up on stage, and I want Bolo to dance on them. Like, that's my thought. But I haven't had one of the things that's important to me on this show is I want to have a lot of people of color, because I want to cast Black housewives with Black like drag queens and Black actors, any like Asian housewives with Asian, like I want to do that. I don't mind casting white women with people of color, but I really, it's very important to me that people of color are cast by people of color, because I really want to like uplift and celebrate in that way. It doesn't always happen, so it can be a little bit challenging, but like, I've gotten enough people that are interested in wanting to do the show where I'm like, I can do that. Like, I just have to get the right availabilities, right? But Bolo is one of the next one.
No straights can play Jenna Lyons or...
No straights. No, we do have a couple. Aaron, the like tall white guy, he is straight.
Yes.
And, like we have like a couple people, but yeah, for the most part.
Is her name Betty Jane? Yes, she was amazing in the whole like DJ My Heart Belongs to Daddy number.
She's great. She is core audience, or not core audience, she's core cast member for us, because she can perform, she can be funny on stage, she can do it all. And so we're like, we need her. She's perfect. And she is a Housewives super fan, so she can get the references, she can do the stuff. She's great. She's lovely, right?
She was a great Monica, I think. Like, yeah.
Yeah, she was a good Monica too, for sure.
If I can tell you my favorite, it took me a while, it grew on me, but now I don't want to see anyone else play Meredith ever.
Then Fernando,
he's the best.
Fernando is
Fernando,
brilliant.
Yes.
We love Fernando. He is so good. Fernando is so good.
Is falling off, but it's amazing because that's Meredith.
That is Meredith at all times. Like, he is so good. He is so good. And the thing is, he doesn't watch Housewives, and when he come here and we show him, but he is so diligent about doing his work. He's like, I watched all these YouTube clips, and this is what I'm getting of her. And he'll tell me she is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yes, sort of, think more this, like, or whatever, like whatever he has to play. And he's like, okay, I got it. And he played Sutton's esophagus. I don't know if you were there for that one.
Yes.
He played Sutton's esophagus, and he was like, I'm going to try to figure out what an esophagus looks like and what it would move like. And I was like, you are so serious. I love this. This is great.
The essence.
Thank you. Yeah.
Love it.
And then Reba, like that Reba number.
I had to.
Like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm enjoying it.
I had to, because I mean, that's the other thing. About a third of the audience they don't know Housewives, or they may not watch all of them, or they know a couple things, right? So I also need to entertain people that don't know. So I was like, if I just make a straightforward like reenactment Reba and make it all deep cuts that only people would know, like it probably won't be entertaining for a lot of people. So I was like, okay, Reba, final boss, Final Fantasy V, all these people. She has, demon henchmen, and then she like kills and it turns into Slayer after, a single mom who works 2 jobs. People may not get the references, so I'll add some stuff, but they'll be like, whatever the fuck is happening, this old lady is crazy. Like, let's do this.
No, it's none of your business.
None of your business. Like, that was so good. Because that's also a season that I was like, yeah, it's all right. Like, I'm kind of like that about Beverly Hills. I'm like, I'm watching it.
Beverly Hills suffers from being one issue most of the season.
It's a 1-issue ticket.
Yeah. It's a 1-issue ticket, 100%, right? Like, okay, right? Like, I need more.
Like, God forbid Kyle had not texted PK. What would they have talked about for 5 straight episodes?
Another dog, like, and I love dogs, but like, I can't be fucking talking about a dog being like returned. Like, come on. They
would have talked about Crystal's coat, even though Crystal's not even on the show.
She's not even on the show, right? Oh my god, Brandy Glanville's face, like something.
Yeah.
No, I'm
with like a sedate season, I would say. Like I'm curious about the finale and the reunion coming up. I'm like, were they really going to get into for 3 episodes with the reunion? Yeah. Like, there's only so much you can talk about Sutton's wallet comment. Well,
I know, and that was a bad comment, but also like, come on. And I just want more Jennifer Tilly. Like, I'm having so much fun with Jennifer Tilly. She's so much fun. I just
want her laugh on a loop. Just,
I want her laugh on a loop. And I want, like, more images of the Bride of Chucky of, oh my God, what's her name? I totally am blanking.
Oh, I forget the doll's name.
Oh,
Tiffany.
You're the horror fan.
Tiffany,
yes.
I just want more Tiffany. Like,
Are you still doing your horror podcast?
Oh yeah, that's doing well. I am as much of a Housewives fan. I am a horror fan. Like, I have like Jaws. Yeah. Oh, lovely. I have Jaws right here. I have a gay pinup Jason, a gay pinup Chatterer. I have Dracula. I have like a lot of horror tattoos. I only watch horror films, which I need to like expand my horizons a little bit. But I love horror. And so I have my podcast, Scared Gay, that I do with one of my best friends. And we just, like every 2 weeks, we like watch a horror film. We go dissect it, talk about it, talk shit about it, whatever. And in October, and because he's also like, he loves the trivia about horror. And I love the analysis. So for him, he's going to tell you like, this is how much it was made for. This is how it was created. This is what happened. Like, these are the references. Like, he'll tell you some really awesome trivia for it. And then for me, when we talk about it, I like to be like, okay, these are what I think the themes are that we're seeing. This is how they convey these themes. This is what I like. Like, I like that aspect of it. So we kind of complement each other well in that sense. And we always want to talk about it through a gay lens. But in October, we're doing a live show at Oasis again.
Oh,
so it's going to be very kind of similar. We had one a few years ago and it went really well. We had a running, like, it was like a bunch of little sketches with like some random stuff in between. And we had, all the sketches had one theme to it, which is the Scared Gay slasher. So it was like a mass slasher and a gay with like the gay pride flag. And, and it was like, there was like a date scene where it's like a couple on a date, like slasher tropes, couple on a date, right. Slumber party, the girls at the slumber party, the like, we did one that was like gay sex. And how it worked is one of the cast members is a professional pole dancer. So we'd like literally put a pole in the middle of the stage, and it was used for a lot of stuff as like a lamp as this thing. And then her number was Reagan from The Exorcist pole dancing as priests are throwing dollar bills at her. So it's just it's very similar in that kind of style of like a love letter to horror through like queer joy and camp.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Jeff's way into horror.
I love horror.
Me too.
I grew up with 4 older brothers that liked to put on horror at the time when I was the most susceptibly frightened of it. So I'm a little traumatized by it.
Oh, I can imagine.
Jeff's exposed me to enough where I can see the camp factor in a lot of it, and then I I can appreciate it. But sometimes he'll put something on. I'm like, I'll be upstairs. You go ahead.
Oh, really?
Like well, sometimes it'll like also be like too scary, and like we'll just like look at each other.
Yeah, we'll stare at each other the whole time.
Yeah, like,
we won't actually look at the screen.
Is it over?
Oh my God. I love it all. Like, give me, and I'm one of those, Chris tells me all the time, he's like, I think there's something wrong with your brain, because the more gore and the more violence and I'm always like, oh, you better get in that bed. I'm ready to go. Like, I am just like, And so I just want to watch everything crazy. And we decided that we are going to watch one of the most extreme horror films that has ever been made. So for the podcast, and I like pitched it to Paul, my co-host, and he was like, well, I don't know, it might be a lot. And it has become like our most popular episode ever, because I think it's so notorious. So we watched a Serbian film, and we did the uncut, like director's cut version. And my poor Chris, like Chris likes horror films, but he doesn't like intense gore and violence. And that movie is so extreme that he locked himself in the room and didn't talk to me the entire night and like cried. He was like, that was a really bad experience. And then we were like talking about it on the podcast, and Paul was like, one of the things that's really important is that we, like any extreme like subject matter, we kind of gloss over. So it was literally like, then we get into the scene and we can't talk to you about it because it's intense. And then we get into the next scene, and we still can't talk to you about the next scene because like, it was like everything was like a, trigger warning. And so we do it all.
Wow.
But I do everything. I love it all.
I don't think I've ever heard of that movie.
I've never heard. Yeah.
So you go ahead and you look that
No.
It's a lot.
I'll be upstairs.
Yeah. And like, and now I'm like, oh, I kind of want to watch it again and introduce someone else to it. Because that was my third watch. And I was like, why do I do this to myself? And then I'm like, I told you, like it. I have Dory, like goldfish memory.
You're just like immune by now to like extreme.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm like having a kid, I'm like, I don't know. Let's just say now that I'm having a kid, I don't know how this movie's going to land. Like, and so there's a lot of films where I'm like, I need to figure out my relationship to this, because there's a whole different life experience now that I have to, that I'm like, finding myself adjusting to and changing and adapting to. And so I don't know how certain horror films are going to, impact me now or land.
And that's happening in a few weeks, you said? 4
Oh my
weeks.
God.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah, it is terrifying. But like exciting at the same time. What?
Are you feeling all the emotions? Like leading up to.
Oh yeah, it's scary, and there's a lot of like tension and also relief and excitement and like everything you could feel at once, because like every parent that I've talked to have said, they all kind of use the metaphor of like, if your life is a book, think of it like this: you're getting to the end of one book. This isn't a chapter. The next book is going to start the moment that kid is born. That is a whole new book with a whole new life, whole new experiences, and like all this stuff. He's like, it's your life is going to be split like that. And that idea is like very overwhelming, because I'm like, holy shit. Right. But we'll see.
We can edit this if we.
No, we've talked.
We've started our surrogacy journey.
We just haven't talked about it on the podcast.
We haven't talked about it on the podcast yet. So we're in the
congratulations.
We're in the
gathering of fun stage. Basically.
Oh yeah. No.
Nice.
No, congratulations. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah,
best of luck.
When you announced it at the show, we were like, oh, so excited.
Yeah.
We went to a surrogacy conference this past weekend. So we were in the city, and so we left there and met our friend for dinner, and then came to the show. So we're like, this is perfect.
Oh, that's great. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. That's going to be awesome.
It's in the very frustrating kind of wait and save stage now, but fingers crossed things will start progressing, and hopefully it'll just start moving full speed ahead. And
100%. My best
we'll
advice
be
for
opening
you.
a new book.
Yeah, I know. I hope so. My best advice for you on that is it's a lot. There's a lot of things that you never knew could be a lot of fears that you like unlock. And the really important thing is at any moment that you have, like, hold each other's hand through it, because it will impact, you differently than him and impact you differently than him. And sometimes that impact may kind of come at like bristling against each other's like traumas or fears or whatever. And your family's growing, your way of relating to your own family's growing. And so just hold each other's hand through it and just be like, hey, no matter what happens, like, I love you. We're in this together, and it's going to be hard sometimes, but we're in this together. That's really important.
I didn't have Pablo making me cry a little bit on my checklist for today. No,
Love
that's
it.
really good advice. Thank you. Yeah, I seem to be prematurely experiencing every fear all at once.
Yeah.
And Jeff, just in the meantime, going like, "What? Well, we're not doing it yet."
And it's funny because like I'm not really a laid back person. Like he is more set. I'm like, it'll be fine. We'll work it out. And he's like, how are you so confident it's going to be fine?
And that's been my one thing to this whole discussion, and just deciding this is something that's for us, is that if the idea of having the most chaotic thing in the entire world happen to you is something that makes Jeff go, we'll figure it out, I'm just like, okay, there's some strength and some power in that being part of our lives.
No, 100. There's strength and power in it, but also the concern also shows that there's investment and interest in it, right? And so like you guys are both you guys have the ability to lean on each other and like in a complementary way. And so that's important. Like the thing that really came out of this with me and my husband is we are partners. We love each other. We're going to be parents. And there were things that were really like heartbreaking. There were things that were really scary and really tough. And we were just like, oh my God. And, we had our own tensions, but, we realized like, you're going to like figure out the thing that is most important. Like, I don't want to do this with anyone else. I want to do this with you. And just remind yourself like why. And then you'll realize like, none of this stuff is personal. It is all just part of this journey, and we're in this together. We love each other. That's really important.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys got this, and I'm excited for you. Oh, that's great. Yeah, keep me posted about all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you won't be able to avoid news about it. We'll be screaming it from the rooftops.
I cannot wait. We're
going to put on our own show at Oasis just so we can.
Yes, please do. Please do. I cannot wait. That's lovely. Oh, I'm so happy for you guys. That's really cute.
This has been wonderful. Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate this. And it's been great hearing about, everything going on with you and all your shows and all the efforts. And God, just talking to anyone about Housewives is always great. Like just even a mild fan, but someone who is encyclopedic about it, like you. Yeah. I mean,
thanks.
Fantastic.
I appreciate it. Thank you. No, this was so much fun. I'm really happy to be on your podcast. Whenever you guys want, let me know. This is so much fun. I'm glad to do it again.
Definitely. I'm sure we'll get a few comments saying, get that guy back.
Yeah.
He's got opinions.
I love it. Oh, I'm very...
Because we tend to like amen each other, like preaching to the choir. So it's nice to have like another side of things. Like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. No, 100% right. Yeah. No, and you guys are doing great with the podcast. I listen to it. I laugh. You guys are great. You guys really, I love a lot of the callbacks of like, oh, I remember this happened and that happened. I'm always like, oh, I wish I was smart. I'm not smart. I need to remember that stuff.
He's the one who remembers everything. So.
You do.
It's like we recorded right after we watched the episode, so it's like still fresh in my mind. And I'm like, I'm still pissed about this.
So mad. I love it. No, it's great. Yeah. No, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit stop here now.
Okay. And then it says I have...